What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be looking at the run home to see exactly who will be making that precious 8th spot to feature in the 2019 AFL Final Series. I've narrowed it down to about 4 teams to see who has a possibility to make the 8 this year. It's going to be a very interesting race with basically who's going to be the least mediocre side to make the 8. It's been a very interesting run in the last couple of weeks, with Adelaide being out of form, Port Adelaide being up and down. The Bulldogs have been making a late charge, and Hawthorn found their feet a couple of weeks ago against Geelong. So they're all in the mix, but let's have a look and see who exactly will feature in September in that precious 8th spot. 4 teams feature on 32 points in the bottom half of the ladder, with Port Adelaide one of those as well. And the Bulldogs are sitting 9th on 36 points, equal with Adelaide, only down by 11% with percentage. So an interesting run home in this last month. It's going to be very difficult to get a grip exactly who can possibly make the 8. We're going to have a look at the 4 teams that I feel are in contention. Unfortunately, I think St Kilda and Fremantle won't make it. They do have a pretty tough draw, and I think as well they're not playing exactly great footy. St Kilda obviously getting their new caretaker coach with Brett Ratton, but I don't think they'll feature in September with such a poor percentage as they have. But we're looking at the 4 main sides who can feature this year. It's Adelaide, who are 8th, Port Adelaide, Western Bulldogs, and Hawthorn as well, who, interestingly enough, are capable of making the 8. They're a very dangerous side when they're on, so wouldn't be ruling them out. But we're going to have a look at the run home and see exactly who makes it. We'll start off with the Adelaide Crows. Now, this all runs in contention. I did on the AFL Ladder Predictor, and this is how I feel. Honestly, no biasness. It will go down during this last month. Adelaide will have a last month with 2 home games. They start off with St Kilda at home. Then they take on West Coast over there at Optus Stadium. Collingwood back at the Adelaide Oval. And finish off the season against the Dogs at Marvel. Based on current form, I feel they'll win 2 games. They'll win this weekend against St Kilda. They won't beat West Coast over there. They'll beat Collingwood, who are struggling with injuries here at the Adelaide Oval. And they'll lose to the Western Bulldogs, who at Marvel are virtually impossible to beat. They are just that good. They play that ground so well. That gives them 2 wins, a steady percentage as they have. So be interesting to see how this holds up. Going with the Bulldogs next, who are obviously sitting 9th, equal on points. The Bulldogs have Brisbane, Essendon, GWS and Adelaide in their last 4. I think they'll lose to the Lions at the Gabba. They'll beat Essendon at Marvel. As I said before, both teams play that Marvel Stadium so damn well. But I think the Bulldogs have a bit of rejuvenation about them, and they might scrape across the line against the Bombers, who weren't that great against Gold Coast, and they've got a tough ask with Port Adelaide this week. We've got the Giants as well. They've got them up at Giants Stadium. Can't see them winning that one. But as I said, I think they'll beat Adelaide at Marvel, which gives them equal points with Adelaide. Unfortunately, I'm ruling the Bulldogs out. They don't have that percentage buffer that they need. And unfortunately, they'll finish just outside the 8. We look at Port Adelaide next. Now, this is the side, obviously, that I support. This is the side that I love. This is the side I so desperately want to make the 8. And going through this, trying to avoid using as much biasness as possible, because as a supporter, you go into every game thinking we're going to win. But with our last month, we have Essendon, Sydney, North and Fremantle. How I think that will go, I don't think we'll beat the Bombers at Marvel. We haven't done it in quite a while now. I think it was 2012 or something, somewhere around there in those early years. 2016 it was actually. Actually, no, it's 2015, now that I think of it. So 4 years on, we haven't quite got the job done at Marvel. We're always in the game, but we always start slowly. But we'll get into that in the preview later in the week. Then we have Sydney at home. I think we'll beat the Swans. Sydney will be competitive, but I feel like we can get the job done there at home. North at Marvel. We haven't lost to North at Marvel Stadium since 2014. Haven't lost to North Melbourne in general since 2014. So we've got the wood on them over lately. And I think we'll get the job done again and win that one. Then we've got Fremantle at home, the last game of the year. Fremantle will basically, it'd almost be a dead rubber. But I think we'll win and we'll smash them. I think we'll smash Fremantle, because we'll go into the last week with an opportunity to make the 8. Hawthorn, they're the other ones that could possibly, in their last month, they could beat them all. Won't lie here. They'll beat North at Marvel this Friday night. They'll probably lose to GWS up there at Giant Stadium. They'll smash Gold Coast. And they'll probably lose to West Coast. But you just never know with Hawthorn. But yeah, I think they'll win 2. They won't make the 8. Same with the Bulldogs, won't make the 8. Between the 2 South Australian teams, who is the least mediocre side? Port Adelaide winning 3 of their last 4 makes them equal on points. Port Adelaide had a decent percentage as well. I've got Port Adelaide making the 8. Now, Crows fans will probably be watching thinking, oh, you're so biased. Oh, you probably made us only win their games by like 10 points. Yeah, look, to be honest, I just did every single game at the standard margin on the AFL ladder predictor, and I've got Port Adelaide slotting in by 0.4%. Does this make me happy? Yes, it does, because we finished 8th. Who do we play if we make the finals and play first week of the final series? We play GWS at Giant Stadium, which basically means just don't even pack your bags because you're not going to win that one. And if Adelaide make the 8 and finish 8th, I'll be playing the Giants at Giant Stadium. And you know what? They may as well not pack their bags because either way, we aren't making it our way through the first round. But you just never know in final series. But I do have Port Adelaide making the 8. A little bit of biasness in there, I won't lie. But anything can happen. Most likely Adelaide will probably make the 8. I think they'll get their finger out and just get the job done. Just with a fast-coming Port Adelaide side. We'll switch it on in the later part of the season. Let me know in the comments below, guys, what you think will happen in this last month. Who's making the 8? Who's missing out? And who's going to win the premiership? Because I've got no idea either. And I'll be doing that a little bit later on in the year when we go into the final series to predict who's going to win this year's premiership from the top 8. The top 7 are basically locked in. It's just 8th spot waiting to be picked up and ready to go. So it's going to be a fascinating last month. I can't wait to see how it plans out. Thank you so much for watching this little video about who's going to win, who's going to make the top 8. It's going to be very interesting to see how it pans out. I'm not 100% sure how it will go. I have a little bit of confidence in Port Adelaide, but you know the story says we won't make the 8. Adelaide supporters are frustrated. They probably won't make the 8. The Bulldogs will probably go on a winning streak and make the 8. Don't know how, but that's what makes this AFL season so fascinating is the fact that we don't know what's going to happen, and to have a run for the 8th position. And the AFL want to bring in a wildcard round. This is exactly why we have a top 8. We've got 6 teams who are mathematically possible to make the 8 in the last month of footy, which as a general fan itself, it's amazing to see. As a Port Adelaide fan, it's not, because we should be in the bloody 8. Thanks for watching, Port fans. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide content. My name is Anthony, and as always, come on, Port. Make the bloody 8.